Welcome to the Winning Together podcast. Today you've got Shay. I know my anger, Aslet. I've got Sean. I know myself, Dub. Sean Dub, the client and the coach today. How you feeling? How you doing?
I'm good, man. It's good to be here. I've been looking forward to this.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, been looking forward to it.
4 or 5 weeks, six weeks, 2 months.
I mean, about 2 months we were supposed to be doing this, but COVID keeps on hitting, bud.
It always happens exactly when it's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm going to notice my guest here today just a little bit. I threw him a little curveball. He wanted to be on there, and I said, okay, you call me. And I let him do it, and he chose it, and he chose it, and he brought it up. So he wants to be here. I want to be here. You want to be here. Let's win together.
Yeah.
Let's get there. So I got a quote I'm going to start off with today. It's one of my favorite ones, and it's from Henry Rollins. No such thing as spare time. No such thing as free time. No such thing as downtime or recovery time. All you got is lifetime. Go. I don't know why that came up for me, and maybe it doesn't apply, but that's what we have, is lifetime. I love what I love about you is you're able to engage people in doing and being and working while we're here. I can ever imagine you going onto the football field and trying to do the least amount of work. And you bring that here. When you get here, it's go time. Because so often, when we have to do something we don't want to do, and I have to go through IOP program, I have to be in these classes for 6 weeks or whatever. When it's done, then my life can start. There is no, when this is done, my life starts, or I get back to my life. There is only lifetime. Yeah. Sean Dubb, who is calling to you? Who are you speaking to today? The winning we do, who's it for?
I mean, ultimately, I do it for myself, but I'm here to.
Boom, that's true.
I'm doing it to be an example to show people that, like us as addicts, there is a hope. There is a way out. You know what I mean? As we go through our life in that situation where we just feel helpless, where loneliness is set in, where we don't have a purpose and we feel left out. And especially, this day and age, it's getting better, but, addicts are not looked down on so much. You know what I mean? Like, we're a little bit more understood. So I just want to give people more of a perspective, and especially other addicts, and let them know that there's a way out, that we can get through this and proceed with life and enjoy life without the use of substances. And not only that, be able to understand and get through our emotions and our feelings.
Big stuff. This podcast is sponsored by I Am Recovery. And one of the things I love about the culture and core values at I Am Recovery is the skills of recovery apply to everybody. It's not just people who abuse drugs or alcohol, or they're workaholics, or they're just tools, or they're mean or angry or hypocritical. Recovery skills apply to all of us because that's how you do joy, period. There is only lifetime. That's what we got, and all we have is today.
It's borrowed time.
So tell me, what are you doing with your time now that is making such a difference in your life that people can learn from and follow and do with you?
I do a lot of different things with my time, man. First and foremost, I'm trying to become more involved in the recovery world, more involved in the treatment world. I'm currently trying to go to school. You know what I mean?
You're not trying.
Well, I am. Yeah,
You're doing
I am.
And you are involved, and you do connect.
yeah, I don't have anybody in my life anymore other than my close family that's not involved in recovery, that hasn't set that kind of standard and that freaking leadership that I can follow along with.
Hat tip to you to attract those people instead of people that choose to use instead, or at that place that's where they're at, and you're no mas. Yeah.
No, I can't do it.
Sure you can. But it's not an option anymore. It's not an option anymore.
Yeah, okay. That's better put. It isn't an option anymore. It's just, this is the life I have to live.
Give me a little background about your path so we can understand what you share, why it's so important for us. So tell me a little bit about your background or your path, or that helps me understand what you're going to share more.
Well, growing up, I had let's start young. I grew up, I played sports.
Let me know, are we going to stay PG-13, or do I need to make sure I hit the explicit?
I'll try and keep it PG-13.
Dude, do you. Like, there's no expectations.
Okay?
So if you want to go
there might
go
be,
there, let's go there.
There might be a swear word that comes out, or, some talk, but, I'll try and keep it PG-13.
We want all you, whatever that is.
Yeah. Young, I grew up, you know what I mean? Like, I played sports. I had my two sisters that I grew up with. I played sports. I excelled in sports. I played football, baseball, basketball, soccer. I had everything that I wanted as a kid, you know what I mean? I had motorcycles.
Like stuff
those material items
sure.
because when you're a young kid, you don't realize anything else. You just want to have fun, play with friends. And so I got to go camping. I had four-wheelers. I had motorcycles. I had friends. I played every sport. I had anything I ever wanted, man.
By the way, you're wicked smart too.
Yeah, I got good grades growing up.
You're blessed.
And growing up, I didn't realize it. And then I got a little bit older, and I started to realize things. My dad wasn't in my life. He was in and out. Would make promises to me. Said he was going to come pick me up. Wouldn't.
You acknowledge that he's a liar.
Yeah. He's definitely a liar. And that transferred into my adult life. And as I got a little bit older, into like junior high, I started to experience with alcohol. Was my first one. 8 years old, my grandpa gave me my first beer out camping with my cousin.
Wow.
Yeah, so I started really young.
Do you remember that experience?
Yes, I do.
What did it feel like?
At that time, it was awesome. You know what I mean? At that time, I'm like, hell yeah, I got the coolest freaking grandpa in the world. Like, me and my cousin are out there walking around drunk as hell with stickers in our feet, 8 years old.
If this is possible, I don't want to live any other way.
Hell yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
Because at that young age, we don't realize what's right from wrong.
Yeah, you did. But that felt good, and they loved it. It was cool, and all that stuff.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if I realized what was right from wrong at that point.
You got it.
Because that was so normal to me. Because growing up, my stepdad and my mom.
Yeah, it wasn't wrong with where you were at.
No,
living
no.
up. Yeah.
How I was raised.
Yeah.
That was right. That was the thing to do.
Yeah.
That's what my family did. That was my mom and stepdad did. We got together, and everybody, it was a drunk fest. So 8 years old, having a beer, that was normal to me. Because that role model, I was like, yeah, I want to be like my mom. I want to get drunk and fall around and act a fool.
It's hilarious.
At this time, it's act a fool, but
yeah.
At that time, it was like, be cool, you know what I mean? But 8 years old, I had my first beer. I didn't get involved in anything until I was 12 years old. I broke my arm.
Involved in anything? What do you mean?
In anything other than alcohol.
Gotcha. Okay.
Any illegal substances. Well, I guess alcohol was illegal to me at that time.
Yep. Good catch.
But I broke my arm, and this is actually a funny story. I look back on it now. It might be crazy to other people, but I look back on it. I laugh about it, because I wrecked my dirt bike. And
You got a great smile, man. You guys can't see it, but you can feel it.
Yeah.
You got a great smile.
Yeah, well, it's just, this brings up funny memories, because I guarantee if my buddies that were involved in this listened to this, they'd be laughing.
Sure.
You're
a fun guy, man.
Yeah, anyway, I wrecked on a dirt bike, and I wrecked into the side of a house. I blacked out. I got drugged through rose bushes, scrapes up and down my freaking body. I had a big old hole in my shin, and I busted my arm. And my arm was busted. And, I go to the hospital, and what do you think they, prescribed me? Some Lortabs.
Oh, not cotton candy?
No, not cotton candy, because this was back in the days when they handed them out, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And so they handed me Lortabs. I go home, and I start taking them. I get that feeling. I get that sensation in my stomach, and it was on from there.
And one thing that you noticed early on is parent one and parent two, father, mother, weren't there saying, oh, by the way, son, these they're powerful. So here's one, you can let me know when you need more. It was, oh, there's your medication, I'm out, I'm over here, not connected to you.
Oh, no, it gets even better. I was about to go there.
Bring it. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
So I go home, and I start taking my Lortabs, and, I get that feeling in my stomach, and I guarantee anybody can relate with it, whether it's alcohol or, So, and my mom hands me my full bottle of pills and says, here, take these to school with you and give them to the principal. Because at that time, you had to do any controlled substances through the office, right? So they can distribute them to you.
Wow.
Did I? No. I took the whole prescription within a week, and I think I got like 30. And I'm talking at 12 years old. You know what I mean? I'm not talking adult. I'm talking 12 years old. Within a week, I'm taking 30 Lortabs. I think there were 7.5s.
That's a life-changing experience.
Yeah. That's when I realized that I loved that feeling. So not only, it's weird for me, opiates gives me energy. It sends me through the roof. But not only that, I'm able to think calmly. I'm able to relax. I don't have those thoughts of who's judging me.
You're not so obsessed if you're safe or not.
Yeah, exactly. I'll put myself in situations where I'm just like, what the hell was I thinking?
How liberating.
Yeah. But
How
also,
awesome is that?
Yeah, but also on top of that, I got good grades. I got straight A's when I was taking those. My teachers were even like, Sean, what's going on with you? I thought it was bad, and they're like, dude, you're getting good grades. Like, what the hell? It's not that I didn't get good grades, but I was getting straight A's.
I understand.
You know what I mean?
But you're excelling noticeably.
Yeah, I had that focus. And from then on is when I really realized my love for it. Like,
so real quick,
it.
Did you feel that you were like being the real you?
At that point in time?
Yeah, in that moment where you're getting good grades, and because you're a smart person. And if that mind of yours is not directed to good challenge, I bet you craft all sorts of mischievousness because you got a big brain. Did you feel like that time, with that feeling, is that I can just be me?
Yeah. And I did, because, like I said, it took away those feelings of inadequacy, of not being accepted, of the trauma, of the stress, the anxiety, of that social act. Because going through junior high, I was very made fun of. So, at the age of 12, I started getting acne. And I'm not talking like pimple here, pimple there. I got full-on acne on my face. And I was already, like, smaller. I didn't hit my growth spurt till I was in 9th grade. And so I was, like, only, like, 5'4". I wasn't very heavy. I was in good shape, but I couldn't stick up for myself.
And those who are listening, Sean Dubb is a muscular, powerful person. So just, yeah.
I got picked on a lot. And the only reason that I didn't get my butt kicked and get my ass whipped on a regular basis was because of my best friend, Robert. And Robert was my first friend when I grew up in Lehigh, because I moved to moved to Lehigh when I was 5. And so I started first grade in Lehigh. He was my very first friend growing up. And still has been. Like, he still is. He's like one of my best friends, one of my biggest supporters. He's like, he's never turned his back on me. And so even through junior high, like,
Thanks, Robert.
I got picked on, and he was always there to stick up for me. And that was a lot of the reason why I didn't get beat up, but I got picked on. And I was already dealing with those thoughts and emotions.
He was a real brother.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I to this day, I still talk to his mom and dad. I still stay in contact with him as much as possible. He's actually a cop now, so, which is really ironic.
Hey, and we're excited for you to hear this, and thanks for listening to this, bro.
Yeah. But anyway, so where was I going with that?
So outside the time when you've got your partner that can, get your back, it was a very scary world.
Yeah, it was. Looking back now, I'm able to realize it, right? Yeah. Then I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know why I was doing the things I was doing.
It wasn't your job to know that.
Yeah. And so just that feeling of, like, not being accepted, because I can realize this then, because these were the feelings and emotions I was going to, like, asking myself, why? Why do I get picked on? Why doesn't anybody accept me? Why can't I have friends? And that continued on. I didn't do anything.
I'm a likable guy. Why aren't people liking me back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I excel in sports, you know what I mean? And you see those jocks, like, they have girlfriends and girls that like them.
Just friends. You'd have taken just friends.
Yeah, I would have taken just friends. I didn't have no friends, and I didn't have no girls that liked me.
Profound loneliness.
I was, like, excluded from everything. I mean, I had girls that made fun of, like, it was bad. It was bad. I had girls that made fun of me, like, and so that continued on till I was probably 15, ninth grade, halfway through ninth grade, and I got a call from my stepdad, he's the one that raised me.
Okay.
Right? That's my sister's dad. He's the one that raised me. He's the one. I can't say that he was there for me like he should have been, but he was there more than any other role model.
You get food on the table?
Yeah, he provided for me.
Okay.
He set a certain example for me.
So it was an emotionally unavailable adult?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I got a call from him.
By the way, guys, we're not judging people. We're just talking about what the consequences are now.
Yeah.
And how we got here and how to figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not judging him by any means. 15 years old, I get a call from him, and he says, "Hey, I need to talk to you."
You hadn't been in communication with him?
No. This is my stepdad, not my real dad.
Okay.
This is my stepdad. He calls me and he says, I need to talk to you. Me and your mom are getting a divorce. This is my stepdad that has raised me and been there for me as much as he could till 15 years old. And I'm already going through all that stuff before, and then I get ripped out of a marriage that I was a part of my whole life, you know what I mean? And then come to find out, to add on to it, I find out that my mom had an affair on him for a year and a half.
You found that out years later, or
No.
did you actually know then?
I actually knew then. He told me. As I was 15 years old, you know what I mean? I'm at the age where I know what's going on. I know what's right from wrong. And my stepdad, he was honest. He didn't feel like that it should be hidden from me because I was the oldest one. My sisters didn't find out till down the line.
Gotcha.
But I was a young adult man, and my stepdad was raised on honesty.
I'm trying to show you respect.
Yeah.
And being upfront.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll tell you what, with the added stuff that I already went through with everything else with my friends, and my mom being an alcoholic growing up, and their relationship was not the best either. I'm not going to lie. Like, they argued and fought on a regular
let's not
basis.
play punches. It was dysfunctional, unhealthy, and hard to be around, hard to live with.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. She would take off for 2 or 3 days at a time. She had manic manic episodes. She come to find out, I just recently found this out that she was diagnosed bipolar. So with alcoholism, watching her do that, and then watching her unhealthy relationship with my stepdad, and then added on to she has a 1.5-year affair behind his back. It was like my thoughts about her and my image of a relationship was already bad because of what had happened to me. And then watching my real dad go in and out of relationship growing up too. He was an alcoholic, had a different girl every other week. And so my idea of relationships just went right out the window. Like,
I'm sorry, what was that last thing you said?
Right out the window, sorry. I keep on pulling away from the mic. And so I did not.
His relationships were going right out the window?
No, my idea of relationship,
gotcha,
what a healthy relationship was already bad enough. And then I see my mom in a marriage do that to somebody that she
you care about.
Yeah, that I care. I consider my dad.
You cared about. He mattered to you.
I didn't care about him. I loved him.
You needed him.
I loved him. I called him dad. Like, he still, to this point in time, is my father figure.
So now you're in the impossible lose scenario where you hate her and you're so angry at her. And even if when she is actually available to hear it, if you express it, who knows, like, she's your source of safety and comfort and food and, and so you have to live with that and just stuff how you feel. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and by the way, you're a really spiritual guy. That must have been so hard on your spirit, your soul.
Yeah, it was really rough because not only did I have to deal with that, then came a time where I had to make a decision. I had to move from Lehigh.
At 18 or?
I was only 15.
15, okay.
Yeah. I had to make a decision
It was being forced.
Yeah, it was being forced. My mom didn't want me to live at my stepdad's, which I still don't understand. I wish I could have just stayed there.
You don't need it. You hate it. You resent her for that.
Yeah. So I had to make a decision. Did I want to move to Provo with my mom or move in with my real dad that was never there for me?
Which poop sandwich do I want to eat today?
Yeah. And of course, like, at that point in time, it's like I had a lot of emotions and feelings towards my mom for this. And so at that point in time, I chose my dad because I had never really lived with him. And
didn't know him. Didn't have a relationship with him.
What I wanted more than anything was a relationship with him. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to move in with my dad. And my mom's like, okay, go. My dad agreed to it. And I moved to American Fork, went to American Fork Junior High for the rest of 9th grade. And, man, that's when my partying started, straight up. My dad was, he still is. I haven't talked to him in years, but I know he still works for the Elks Lodge, and he's a full-blown alcoholic. But at that time, he was working for Provo City and then working for the bar at night, so he was never home. And so I just ran the streets, man. I had this buddy named Jeff in American Fork. I used to go over there, and that's when I started smoking weed. I started taking pills on a regular basis. And I became a full-fledged alcoholic.
And people are telling you how great your life is because you do what you want, when you want, where you want, and whenever somebody says that, you're like, no, it's the worst.
I can now.
Well, you felt it at that time.
Yeah.
You have no idea what you're talking about. You didn't say anything. You're like, yeah, it's awesome, dude. I'm so cool.
Well, and that's the thing, though. It's like, at that point in time, I thought my life was awesome.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck yeah. I get to go to my friend's house. I get to drink whenever I want. I don't have nobody telling me what I can and can't do. Yeah, I didn't have no guidance, no structure, no
option to go to school, option not to.
No structure. Yeah. And I practically lived at my buddy Jeff's house. And even when he went to school, he was 2 years younger than me. He went to school, I'd stay there. And his mom was like, "Oh, you going to school today?" And I was like, "No, I'm just gonna stay home." She's like, "Oh, okay, cool." And
thank God for Jeff and his family, because that provided some safety for you.
No, for sure. Like, I still to this day, I still talk to Jeff every now and again, and He's doing really good. We both, our story continues. I'll get to that. But yeah, that gave me my sense of security. You know what I mean? My sense of being accepted somewhere.
Yeah.
Because his mom actually did really true care about my well-being. Even when, this continued on for a while.
And can I notice you real quick for being a true loyal friend to people who give that to you? Way to be that way.
I mean,
just say thanks.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah, there you
go. Yeah. That continued on, man.
So this is 15
years
16, old. 17.
15, 16, 17. But in that meantime, I had moved back in with my mom. So the end of ninth grade, I finished ninth grade in American Fork Junior. And I moved back in with my mom. And I ended up moving to Provo.
And you've stopped at this point doing all the things that bring you joy? Or were you still playing sports?
Oh, I continued playing sports. I always played sports.
You just did enough schoolwork so you could pass to play. Gotcha.
Yeah. Ninth grade, I played baseball, football, basketball, soccer up until 6th. 7th, 8th, and 9th, I did football and basketball. So end of 9th grade, I moved to Provo.
Thank God for sports and for you honoring your athleticism.
Oh, dude, I was good. I still am to this day. Like I pick up ping pong, sure. I pick up pickleball. I don't whatever it is.
Gifted.
So I go to Provo, and then again. So let me backtrack a little bit to moving to American Fork.
Okay.
Because I didn't even touch on like the emotions and feelings that I went through of moving. So when you move places and you have all your life that you know about, your friends, your activities, your structure, whatever it is, you know what I mean? And you move to a new place, it's like starting over. You don't have no friends. You don't have no sense of acceptance or purpose. Because I had that little bit with Robert and a couple of my other friends. You know what I mean? Yeah. But going to American Fork Junior, just that sense of restarting in a new place, you're kind of, again, finding yourself searching for a meaning, searching for a purpose, being accepted, that social aspect of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Having friends, even if they were unhealthy friends, I still considered them friends at that time. Well, so I go, now I have to move to Provo, and I have to restart again. My friends are in American Fork and Lehigh. Here I go. I moved to Provo. 10th grade, which is like probably the most important time in a young man's life to have a role model, a sense of structure, stability, security, having a father figure. I didn't have
chores, responsibilities, consequences, getting grounded, what's okay, what's not okay.
Yeah. I had none of that. I moved to Provo, and my mom literally let me run the streets. I was gone for 3 and 5 days at a time without a phone call. She wouldn't call me. I'd show up. She'd be like, "Oh, where you been? Oh, did you have fun? Okay, cool. You got school tomorrow." I'd fall asleep, wake up, and
those moments when you're going to bed and you're like, "Okay, you had to fight yourself not to call her and to see if she would notice and to like have her actually not notice you."
I mean,
wow.
I'm
so sorry, Sean. It's not supposed to be that way.
Yeah, no. It's not at all. And at this point, so my mom had gotten in a wreck and got prescribed Lortabs. So I'm already an opiate, user.
Yep.
Like I love it. It's my new obsession. Like above and beyond everything else, alcohol. I tried methamphetamines. I tried hallucinogens. Opiates was my love.
Yeah.
And I still, to this day, I will sit here and say that I have an absolute love for opiates. And I'll never forget the feeling. But anyway, my mom had gotten prescribed Lortabs, and here I am, and she starts giving them to me. "Mom, can I have a Lortab? Here you go, here's 5 or 6 Lortab 10s. I'd take them to school. giving to my friends. I was getting high at school. Again, I'm excelling in school at this point in time.
Yeah, so you observed or noticed that when you were totally high on that drug, you actually could be you. And come to find out, being you is pretty damn good.
Yeah. It was...
Where you're not crippled with anxiety and fear and uncertainty and unpredictability.
Yeah. Plus, I had friends that I felt like...
And all these adults not doing their job.
Yeah. And I felt like I had friends around that wanted me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And so it was nice. But 10th grade, I would go to school. So even on the days I'd go to school, I started off in Provo High. Driver's ed, first period, I'll go to driver's ed. And I left.
Yeah.
And at this time, I started smoking weed really bad. So that continued on for a semester, and Provo High was like, no, yeah, you're going to have to leave. I did get my driver's license, though, at Provo High.
I know you
so
did. Good job.
I got to see myself for that.
For sure.
For that one period. But I go see Judge
It was freedom, buddy.
Yeah.
So for sure that's getting done, because then you can get the hell out of that.
Exactly. And I go to Judge Lindsay. She's like, yeah, Sean, Mr. Waters, you're going to need to go to a secondary school. Let's send you to Independence.
Okay.
Independence is full of kids like me, that have no structure, sloughed school, truancies, And so I start going to Independence. And
hurting kids.
Yeah.
Kids that are hurting.
Yeah, exactly like me. No structure. Their parents are either alcoholics or addicts, or, they've struggled through their lives. So I go to Independence, and I try out for the basketball team, and I got on the team starting point guard. And so in my thought, I'm like, hell yeah, I have a purpose.
Yeah.
So I started going to school, got good grades during basketball. And we ended up taking state, and I was actually told that if I was to continue my basketball career, I would have probably gotten a scholarship. Like, there was, UVU came and checked out my buddy, Joe, and they were like, you keep going, and we'll come back.
You knew you could play somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was good. I still am. Like, if I was to go back to it and start exercising more, I could get back to where I was. Like,
Have you grieved that?
The loss of not being able to play basketball? No. I got posts all the time from my buddies that tell me, when are you going to come play ball? And I've got pins in my hand right now, and I'm just like, ugh. But I neglected it, because I used to get together with buddies all the time in Provo at Franklin, and we'd ball up. And just Sunday, just full of 20 and 30 guys, old high school buddies, we'd get together and play basketball. That was our passion. That was my hobby, sports. But anyway.
Who do you resent or blame for keeping you from going and playing ball in college?
I mean, that's a hard one.
Don't say you. I know you have a part in it, but who do you blame?
I'm going to blame...
No judgment. We're not making it right or wrong.
Ultimately, it comes down to my blame for my parents, my hatred.
Totally. Because
if I would have had that structure and that security and that direction...
Even 10% of it. I mean, even like just something.
Yeah, if I would have had that, I would have stayed in school.
I know. If your parents had even come to some games.
Yeah. That was one thing. My mom was always...
Can I thank you for being honest about, keeping it real with me on that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, my mom went to every game. As a matter of fact, the only time she ever missed a game was when she absolutely had to. She was my biggest supporter through sports. Even elementary, junior high, high school. We'd travel for high school. We'd travel out of town. She would go to my game.
Good job, Mom.
But my dad, he went to one game. One game my whole adolescent, junior high, adult, one game. And that's all I ever wanted, was him to come to my games, and he never did. But, had I had that structure, Yeah, I would have definitely excelled a lot more in life. I feel like that's a really important part in anybody's life, is that early teens, early adult
Whose
structure.
permission are you still waiting for in your life to do awesome stuff, to do rad shit?
I'm not waiting for anybody's permission now. Like,
What is that? How does that feel?
it feels good
Good job.
because I did let
That's true.
all that stuff hold me down and weigh me down to where I let it, what do I call it? How do I say this? Define me
Yeah.
as an individual. All the shit that happened in the past. And that's not who I am.
Good job. That takes work.
Yeah, it's taken a lot of work. You know, I'm almost 36 years old, and I've been using and drinking since I was 8 and 12.
Okay, so let me ask you this. You want to speak to those who feel that they're trapped and there's no way out and it's not going to happen and feeling good, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you should have quit a long time ago. You've had, I don't know, 10,000 opportunities, reasons, and times where you should have quit, but you didn't. What are you protecting? What do you have to protect? Why? Why didn't you quit?
I didn't quit because the feeling of the drugs and alcohol masked my emotions, masked my trauma.
That's why you should have quit.
But
Gotcha. Because you weren't feeling the pain. Gotcha.
But I don't want to feel that pain. You know what I mean? Like that feeling of...
So the numbing out created stability, and then you don't have to deal with it, and you're gifted and talented enough that you can get by and get by and get by.
Yeah. And, I mean, dude, I've done total of 5 years in jail.
Oh, by the way, you also know you have a purpose. You know, if you don't protect something inside here, if you let that die, game over. I will totally notice you for that. You don't need to know what it is. You just need to know that you know that something in here matters, and you're fighting for that. Your gift and your talent, you're going to give it. Thank you. Good job.
Yeah.
It matters.
Yeah. It does.
You matter.
Yeah, it does, and that makes a big difference in my life today.
Say thanks, Shay Dog.
Thanks, Shay Dog.
You matter.
You matter. I matter.
No, just say thanks.
Thanks.
You're right. I do.
Yeah.
Cool.
You are right. So, yeah, that was a lot of the reason why I kept using, man. But looking back now, a big part of it is like, so my life was changing. You know what I mean? As I'm getting older, experiences are happening, life's happening, and I did not want to change. I did not want to face those emotions. I did not want to face that trauma, because as soon as I did, I was going to have the same feelings that I had when I started using.
Oh, hell no.
Before I started
using. Totally get it, yeah.
So I kept using. You know, I had my
You got a bulldog, too, so when you get set on something, nothing's changing, huh?
No.
So you got stuck big time, huh?
Dude, you can talk to both my kids' moms, my family, everybody, and they'll tell you I'm so hard-headed.
Pitbull.
I'm just, once I'm set on something, it's mine. It's going to happen. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter who I affect or who I hurt or what I do or what image I portray on myself, I'm going to do it. And that was a lot of the reason why I got in so much trouble.
Yeah.
Was because I was already numb, you know what I mean, from those emotions of my past. But now I'm numb to my emotions
and the
in
current
the present.
ones, there was no capacity to feel the current ones either.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so age of 19, I started breaking into cars. I started doing methamphetamines. I started robbing my mom, robbing my stepdad.
She deserved it. She owed you.
At that point in time, I'm going to say, yeah, that's what I
that's how
felt
you
like.
felt.
I didn't give a fuck how she felt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She had hurt me.
Totally.
And she was nothing in my eyes. Like, and that's a hard thing to accept, man. I'm not going to lie.
Or
like,
just acknowledge, yeah.
Yeah, acknowledge, yeah. And it wasn't just like my sisters, they would always tell me, Sean, just get clean. We love you so much. Like, that didn't even matter, dude. Like, nothing mattered but that next freaking drug, alcohol, or fix, or whatever sexual relationship.
Totally.
Whatever would make me feel good about myself, and kind of that freaking adrenaline rush that you get from it. You know what I mean? That's what I searched for. And man, this continued on for years. I mean, I didn't do heroin until I was 28. I didn't mess with that because for a long time I told myself that I wouldn't do it. And so I did pills and drank for years, in and out of jail. I've done like 3 1-year sentences, been on probation.
Jail probably felt great, safe, you know, what the rules are, the structure. Probably was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, at that point in time, no, it wasn't awesome. You know what I mean? It sucked. It was boring. I was locked down. I had structure.
You were bored anyway.
Yeah, I was, but I didn't like the people telling me what to do. I didn't like that authoritative figure in my life.
Yeah. 7th grade Sean is getting picked on again.
Yeah. And so I didn't like it. But I did a lot of jail time, so I always found myself back there for some reason. But man, there
was lessons to learn, and you're not there now because you learned them.
Yeah. I looking back though, I am grateful for that because that did show me what I didn't want.
Yeah. Great way to phrase it.
You know what I mean? All those years in jail, I liked it at first.
Way to be available to that insight. That's valuable.
Thank you. I liked it at first, but just going in and out, that's just not the lifestyle I wanted to live.
Yeah.
And I always told myself that, going through addiction, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that tells myself this, is like... No, you are. You're the only one that uses special lies. Let's hear them. So I tell myself I'm going to keep using until this happens. I'm going to keep using until I get a felony. Yeah. I'm going to keep using until I have a kid. So what happens? I have my first kid, 30 years old. Started late. I always told myself that I would try not and drag my kids through it.
You never learn how to cope with stress.
I told myself that I would never be like my dad.
That guy.
Like my dad.
Never be that fucker.
Yep.
And here you are, that fucker.
Yep. And here I am, 30 years old, no job, nothing to offer. Oh I have my first actual serious relationship, and I end up having a kid.
That one broke your heart, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love her with all my heart and always will. And that was my mother and my daughter. Her name's Brianne. And she knows this. It's still hard to this day. But anyway, I'll tell you a little bit about that because that's one of the turning points in my life. And I feel like this is something that can relate to other addicts.
Bring it.
So me and her in a relationship for 7 or 8 months, and we go 7 months unprotected sex. And I'm trying. Not happening. All of a sudden...
You want to have a kid?
Yeah, okay. I'm trying. It's getting late, and I felt that way towards her. We were both in early recovery, mind you. I meet her in an
absolutely
meeting of Narcotics Anonymous.
Same.
Yeah. 3 months into our relationship, here come my character defects. Just screaming, dude. Inability to trust, inability to love. I didn't even know how to show love.
Totally.
Inability to, it was bad.
No, you specifically.
I'm trying to think of other ones.
Be responsible.
Trust.
Communicate.
Yeah. I wasn't
have
able
structure.
to hold a job. Yeah. Nothing.
Get up on a time and get chores. Clean that. Keep the house clean. All that stuff, right?
I didn't know how to communicate right.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
None of that shit. And so we just started arguing, fighting.
Oh, the fear of rejection and abandonment that you just experienced must have been, terrifying.
Well, it's funny because you have those fears, right? Inside, you're like, oh, I don't want to be, but then you self-sabotage. Like,
But I'm Sean Dubb.
Yeah.
I'm Sean Dubb.
You self-sabotage. And it's just funny how that works, how we, you know what I mean? You think we would hold on to that.
It's criminal how it works.
Yeah. And so here I am self-sabotaging
Yeah.
on a daily basis. And so we grew to the point where we had grown apart.
That sucks, by the way.
Yeah. It was
Especially
really,
when it's happening to somebody you care about and you want, like, you can't figure, it's right there and you know it's there, you can't figure it out.
Yeah.
And you love, like, you want it. And she wants it too. Yeah. That sucks.
Yeah. And so
3 months, character, the real shit, the
I'm
real
just trying
Sean
to
Dubb
think
stands up.
yeah, the real one. Yeah, the sick one. So I'm trying to think of the year. 2016. All right. Valentine's Day. Last time me and Brianne decided to sleep together. And then we decided it got to the point to where it started becoming like the cops got called. I never laid my hand on her, never hit her, but I started to find myself like
Rage.
getting aggressive.
Yeah.
All those feelings were coming out, man. And the cops got called, the neighbors called them, and I ended up going to jail. Yeah. I had a warrant. I didn't get no domestic violence charges. I go to jail, and before I went to jail, I told her, I was like, look, you need to go. This ain't right. I don't want you here no more.
Had she started using again at that time?
I had.
You had, okay.
But she hadn't. But I just was done, man. On date, I was going fucking crazy. I asked her to leave, and she ended up leaving. I get out of jail, and I just went crazy.
Yeah.
Not knowing at this time that she was pregnant with my kid. I just gone through a breakup.
Okay.
Right? And I dove myself back into using. Anyway, I'll try and speed this story up a little bit because I feel like you can relate to it in some way, shape, or form. So
hold up. Is there a feeling right there you like option to feel?
What's that?
I don't know. Is there something right there just now you want to express?
No. Well, I'm getting there.
Okay.
I'm getting there. I just wanted to speed up because it's just normal, you know. I continued to use it. I end up getting in trouble, stole a motorcycle, got sentenced to a year in jail. I go to jail, and a month after I'm in jail, I get a phone call. Actually, hold on. Let me step back. I knew before I went to jail that she was pregnant.
Okay.
And that still did not stop me. And mind you, I'm telling myself, as soon as I have a kid, I'm going to quit.
It probably actually drove you harder in that opposite direction.
Yeah, it actually did. Because I was not in the place to provide for anything. Yeah. And here comes those feelings of inadequacy. You know what I mean?
And now you're the worst.
Yeah, I'm the worst. Yep. So I continued, got busted, go to jail. And she's telling me, she's like, you know, do you want to be a part of your daughter's life? And I'm like, yeah, of course I do. And I think I talked to her one time. And I go to jail in, June. Talked to her one time in that time span up until September 18th, 2016. And I was out in the JI work program at the Utah County Jail.
How often do you think about that?
Well, think about what?
The scenario.
I think about it all
Constantly,
the time.
Right?
Constantly. This is something I will never forget.
Eating yourself alive from the inside.
And you'll know it plays a part in my brain and always will. I'm out in the JI work program. I haven't talked to her. I know she's pregnant. You know what I mean? I've talked to my family. My family's kind of keeping in contact with her. I go out to the JI work program.
Logic up in your head. You know the situation.
Yeah. I go out to the JI work program, and I come home from work. It's a work program at the Utah County Jail where you can leave, come back, you know. I come back from work one day, and I get a note from one of the deputies saying, Sean, you need to call your family. She was due She was due in
Was
November.
there even a person that came up in your mind when you said they said family?
Yeah, it was my mom, actually.
Oh, okay.
Because my mom, at that point in time, started going through medical problems, was having seizures.
Oh.
And
So now you're a bad son, too, because you're not there for her.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Woo!
I mean, there was a lot more than that, man. But, you know, I instantly think my mom.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because here it is, it's September, and Brianne's not due till the end of November. So I'm like, last thing I'm thinking is, Brianne. I call my sister, and my sister says, Sean, you're a dad. What? She says, Brianne went into labor.
Wow.
And I'm thinking to automatically I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, she's 2 months ahead. And then my sister says, hey, I got something to tell you. Your daughter's non-responsive. She's in the NICU. Her lungs and brain weren't fully developed. She's on life support. And I'll remember that day for the rest of my life, man, because...
Can you tell me what your body's feeling right now as you share that? Courageously.
My heart rate just went through the roof.
It totally did.
And I'm honestly like holding back tears. It was the worst feeling.
But what is the feeling in your body? What is it?
It's a feeling of resentment towards myself. A feeling of hatred, anger, because not only am I in jail and can't be there, now I'm helpless, locked up, and my daughter's on life support. And I can't do a fucking thing.
In the one place you promised yourself 10,000 times you would never be. And here you are, and you can't go anywhere or do anything about it.
Well, I also promised myself that I would always be a dad and be there for my
A
kids.
good dad.
Yeah. Yeah. And,
Wow.
man,
Why didn't you quit?
I don't, it's hard to explain, man. It's just.
Thank you. Thank you for not quitting.
Yeah, it was just my addiction had me. Well, at that point, and I'm sober at that point and clear-headed. And, man, looking back, like, okay, so that's the worst I've ever felt.
Did you have a heart to break at that point?
Did I have a heart?
Was your heart still was it already broken, or was there still some breaking to happen, or did that just blow it into smithereens? I mean,
dude, that was it
was gone, right?
Never felt anything in my heart worse than that.
Yeah.
Like, I had never been able to feel before this because of all the drugs.
Right.
And this is something that I don't care who you are, what parent you are, to feel that is the worst fucking feeling you'll ever feel. It's your children, man. I don't care if you're there or not. Like, you automatically gain a love and a connection with your children, whether you're there or not for them to be born. Like, that's your blood. And so, like, that was the worst heartbreak I've ever felt, man. And I felt helpless. But anyway,
and then what happened?
So she was in NICU for a month, and they're running all these tests on her. You know what I mean? Brain's not fully developed, lungs not fully developed. She's 2 months early, teeny, lifeless. They run all these tests, and she's out at UMass, which I don't know if anybody knows about UMass. UMass is like one of the top pediatric
Back
/
east in
NICU.
Massachusetts?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
UMass is like one of the top freaking NICU, like pediatric children hospital in the nation.
Isn't that where they train Harvard doctors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the nation, not just Connecticut. So they come to us and they tell Brianne, like, you know, there's nothing we can do. We've run all the tests we can on her. She's not going to make it. And I didn't get a decision in that. This is what I've been told today. So, you know, I'll give the benefit of the doubt, but this is what Brianne's mom and Brianne told me, is that, you know, they had to make the decision to pull the plug. At this time, me and Brianne are barely talking. barely talking, right? And I have no decision in this. And I get a phone call from my sister saying they decided to pull the plug on her. And I was like, okay, you know. That was so hard. Because I didn't know what was going on, why this is happening to me. Because, like, all that shit in the past had already happened. Or why this? You know what I mean? And all I ever wanted to be was a dad. And as soon as I become a dad, it gets ripped from me.
Horrifically.
Yeah, it was the worst thing that anybody could ever go through. Worst feeling. And I remember the Officer Miller, probably one of the nicest deputies at the the jail, pulls me aside and says, hey, Sean, you want some time alone? And let me go outside. And I still remember the day. And I went outside, and I'm watering the grass, and I look up, and the sun's setting. And I decided to pray. This is why this is so powerful for me, because my whole life, I'm not relying on a higher power. I'm not believing in shit.
Oh, you hate God?
Yeah.
Or the idea, or religion, whatever.
Yeah, Mormon was crammed down my throat. I guess I ran over that, but Mormon religion was crammed down my throat. I started praying. And I asked God, I said, please, take me. Why her? Take me. And 2 days go by, and so in my head, I'm already, accepting the fact that my daughter is gone. I call my sister 2 days later just to, see what's going on. She's like, I've been trying to get a hold of you. I was like, why? She's like, they pulled the plug on your daughter, and she started breathing. What the fuck? Are you serious? And still, to this day, the hairs on my arms are standing up right now. Ultimately, I'm like, oh my God. My prayers were heard. My prayers were answered.
In a miraculously impossible way.
Yeah. I had no control over. That was when I realized my higher power. I knew it was there. Because that's one thing about your higher power. My higher power is that as soon as I believe in him and trust in him, I start to pray, I start to turn that shit over, that's when shit in my life starts to happen.
You've always believed in God, huh? That's one of your gifts. Because if you didn't, you wouldn't have somebody to hate.
Yeah.
If you hate him, you know something's there.
Growing up, of course, I didn't realize that, right?
Totally.
It's not there.
But to come and now honor your gift powerfully, because for you, it's not about believing in a higher power. You know.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And miracles aren't something that people talk. Miracles are real.
Well, it's like all those things going through in your life. You're asking yourself, you take a step back, you're screaming, why is this happening to me? There you are, screaming to your higher power. You're screaming into the middle of nowhere. You're screaming to a power greater than yourself, but you just don't realize it. And so this was
until you do.
Boom. Yeah. And now I did. I had a reason to see, because I wasn't able to realize all those things growing up that were happening to me. It's because we grow up being an addict. It's all those negative shit. Where's all the positive things? Well, I had positive things that happened to me, but I just realized the negative.
No, they don't matter.
Yeah, fuck no, they don't matter. Anyway, I wanted to finish on this, or make sure I finish this topic, because my daughter starts breathing, and I'm like, oh my God. Doctors start doing more tests. They're stunned, wondering why she's even alive, why she's even able to breathe. Lungs not fully developed, brain's not. Come on, a miracle. That's all I can say. They start doing more tests, and they come back to us, and they're like, she's going to become a vegetable. She's going to feed out of a feeding tube for the rest of her life. You're going to have to change her diapers, all that, because they thought she was pre-developed. She was going to be autistic or, handicapped. And I remember this conversation I had with her mom and dad, Brianne's mom and dad. So it's my daughter's grandma and grandpa. And I was all excited. Yeah, my daughter's still alive. And they're like, why?
Oh my gosh.
she's going to be a vegetable, Sean. And they had no belief that she was going to live.
My gosh. Can one adult in the world just be happy for you for once?
Yeah.
On a little thing?
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, it was, I'll never forget that conversation with her dad and her mom. And
our granddaughter's going to be a vegetable.
yeah. Why are you even having
that.
Yeah, why can't accept their own
Your
granddaughter.
sins caused that. What? Wow. Apparently it's hard for them to process it too.
Well, that goes a lot deeper, but that's other
This
things.
podcast isn't about them.
Yeah, it's not about them. Yeah, exactly. But so they come back, they tell us, like, see, now I'm getting happier, right?
Yeah, by the way, I'm going to notice you for not letting that phase you. A really pivotal thing happened there. You're like, okay, I hear you saying, I do not accept that. I trust me. Big, good job. I'll notice you for that. Point to you.
Thank you. Because that was hard.
Oh, it was the impossible thing.
Yeah. They run tests, tell us that she's gonna be a vegetable, right? Time goes on. She starts.
And
okay, so she's
right,
on a
your
breathing.
body is so happy right now.
Yeah. That's why I said.
Yeah.
As you can tell, like
Yeah.
now I'm getting excited because this is like, I had hit the low.
Yeah.
And now I'm coming out.
Yeah.
Of it, and I have some hope. And
You're a good person.
you know, they go to Brianna and say, we've run all the tests we can. Like, she's gonna be a vegetable. 1 week at a time. I shit you not, dude. I think she was in NICU for just over a month. First week, she gets the breathing machine taken out of her, breathing tubes. Right, she's breathing on her own. Second week, gets the feeding tube taken out of her. She's feeding on her own. Third week, they do, you know, how they go in and they test the baby's motor skills. You know, make sure she's reacting, her sound, everything's perfect. A month goes by and they run.
What is that doing for you, by the way, week over week?
It's given me more and more hope.
Yeah.
Like,
Energy.
it's given me more and more reason to hang on and believe.
Oh, I'm so glad you held on.
Month goes by, they finally run tests, and her brain and lungs are developed. She leaves the hospital just over a month later, one of the healthiest little babies ever. My daughter just turned 5, and she is the most beautiful little girl. And a lot of parents say this, like, oh yeah, my kid's so beautiful. No, my daughter is probably the most beautiful miracle that has ever happened in my life. And I'm not saying that. I have a son too, that's 2 years old.
It doesn't take anything away from him.
Yeah.
That she is that.
Yeah.
And there's no probable about it. For you, it is.
Yeah, it's because it
walking
was
on
my
water
life.
right
It
there.
was my life
Totally.
changer.
Totally.
You know what I mean? And so, yeah, to this day, man, I talk to her and she's like, Daddy. She just lights up, man. I mean, and I'm not saying that she doesn't cry, because she cries too. Like, she'll cry to me, Daddy, when are you going to come see me? And she starts crying. Like, but she just that light in her face every time I talk to her just gives me more and more hope. And I'm not saying that I didn't, from that point on, I didn't stay straight. I didn't keep doing good. But that was my...
But you did a little less shitty, or you did just a little bit better.
Oh, yeah, I did a hell of a lot better.
You started making just choices.
Did a hell of a lot better.
Yeah.
So I made a decision that at that point in time that I was going to start doing something different. Got out and I went into sober living, and I'll never forget this, because this Billy Joe and Jeff, they are my huge support. They're my family.
Shout out to Billy Joe and Jeff.
Yeah, for sure. I love you guys, and you know this. And
this world would not be the same without you.
No. Matter of fact, Jeff just hit his 9 years. You know, I'll shout out to him.
Hat tip to you.
Yeah. I go into their sober living, and this is when my life changed. They introduced me to the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. And I do both, AA and A. It doesn't matter. I don't judge anybody by what they do. It's wherever you get your recovery. That's
you didn't judge the high you got, so you like them equally.
yeah. I go into the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I get introduced to the program, and this is where I really started to grow. I went in, man, and I went in still lost, even though all this shit happened to my daughter, right? I still have yet to start to work on the things inside myself. So here I come out of jail. I'm lost, dude. Still lonely. Still.
I know you didn't know where you were at, but did you actually feel lost? Because I'm getting picked up from your body that you actually knew you were found.
Well, it's not that so inside myself.
Gotcha.
Emotionally.
Gotcha.
I was, I was.
Who's this guy I've been living with for
I had no identity.
decades. Yeah.
I had no identity. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know my potential. I didn't know nothing. I was lost. I had just hit the bottom, ultimate bottom with my daughter, right?
Here you have just moved to the new school with no friends and nothing again.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I go into the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I start going to the meetings. And I sit down, and Billy Joe and Jeff are,
rock
there,
stars.
Yeah. And I haven't seen, so I met Jeff 9 years ago. We were in treatment together.
Okay.
I hadn't seen him since then. I run into him. So at this point in time, he had 4 years clean. I run into him in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. Now I'm not alone. You know what I mean? Yeah. I have a friend.
Yeah. Robert's back.
Yeah.
A Robert.
Yeah. A Robert named Jeff. But,
Thank you, Jeff.
Jeff starts showing me, he's like, this is what this is about, dude. And at this time, I'm like, okay, I just hit my low. Where am I going to get my highs from? Like, where's the miracles going to start happening in my life? Because I just had one. Now I want, you know what I mean? Like, you go into the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, and they're like, you stay, the miracles will happen. Don't leave until the miracle happens. That's what they say.
I'm here to get
keep
sober.
Coming back. Yeah, keep coming back. And so, I continue to keep going back.
And now the pit bull quality of you is working for you.
Yeah.
Because you're not going anywhere until you've experienced it.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I struggled. The first time I went in, I think I got 8 months.
Okay, tell me how it really was. Struggle doesn't even come to describe how hard it was for you.
Oh no, dude. It was really hard.
Yeah.
Because when you come into the rooms, they say get a sponsor, work the steps, and be of service. Well, be of service. The fuck is service? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do I service somebody? Like, I was so used to just taking. Like, all I give a fuck about was me, my selfishness, and self-centeredness. And people started to show me how to be of service to other people. And then they told me,
how'd that feel when you did it?
It was really foreign, right?
Yeah.
Right? But as soon as I started doing it and getting out of myself and being service to other people, I loved it.
Yeah.
And I love it to this day. That's a lot of the reason why I want to do what I want to do with the clinical field and staying in therapy is to give back to another addict, man.
Gifts and talents. Yeah.
It's serving another addict. That's what the whole program at AA is about, is being of service to another freaking alcoholic or addict, the suffering alcoholic or addict.
We win together.
Yeah. And we can't do this alone, man.
Nope.
And that was another problem as I got this.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
I'm Sean Dub.
Yeah. I got this. I can do this on my own. I don't need your help. And that's what I did my whole life. And
no one's wanted to see me yet. Why do you want to see me?
Yeah. And it's crazy. I mean, I could get on to a whole nother topic of service and how much we need it in everyday life.
You just did.
Even if you're not an addict.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
Happy people do service of some sort in some
way.
Well,
they receive service too.
Great point. Thank you. Point to you.
You know what I mean?
That matters just as much.
Yeah. We cannot live life inside of addiction or outside of addiction. Doesn't matter if you're clean or sober. We cannot live life without being able to give service and receive service.
Accepting help and support when you're weak is not weakness.
No.
It's actually strength.
Yeah, that's where we grow.
Yeah.
That's where shit's brought to our attention that we don't realize.
Still sucks, but it's the way.
Dude, let's get real. It fucking sucks.
Thank you.
Like, there's nothing worse than somebody bringing something to your attention that you don't want brought to your attention.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck you. Did you really just bring that to my attention? Did you
keep it
really
real.
just fucking judge me? And then you're like, fuck, they're right. And that's usually when you get pissed off, is when people come to you with real shit and you're like, no, I don't want to hear this shit. Like, oh, no. As a matter of fact, I don't even want you as my friend. Like, I don't want you around me because you're too fucking real for me. But I love that now. I love realness. I love truth, honesty. Like, those are real friends. Those are family that will have your back and support you. But I'm able to realize that now. You know, I go because I want to touch on how I met my son and stuff and my journey.
For this one, why don't you kind of bring us on home?
Yeah.
By the way, how's this been for you?
What, this experience?
This podcast for you.
Oh, it's awesome, dude.
Dope, right?
Yeah, I've been waiting for it to happen for 2 months now.
Okay, so options are let's do a few more. If there's more to tell, let's do it. Okay. You've been great. This has been great. This has been terribly good. Yeah. Tremendously good.
Yeah, I love it, man.
Yeah, you do. Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so
of course, man.
For this chapter, for this part of your story that you want to share, let's kind of bring it on home in what, if anybody, there's somebody out there that needed to hear what you're sharing. And that's why you're here. What do you want to make sure that they remember from this awesome, workshop of how to find a way to win?
Ultimately, what it comes down to is, man, never give up hope. No matter
how. What do you do to not give up hope?
I stay reminded on a daily basis of what I have.
Remind yourself what we have. Okay, what else?
Awareness. I stay surrounded by people that support me and that are a healthy influence to me.
Okay.
I stay connected with my higher power, man. Because first and foremost, if you don't have a higher power, if you don't have that sense of spirituality inside you, you're never going to make it anywhere, honestly. Oh. You got to have a conscious contact with your higher power.
And the effort you put into to get the result you're getting is exhausting when you don't have an infinite source of power to do it with you, to team up with.
Yeah. It takes time. It takes belief.
I love that. It does take time. You took years to act your way into this problem.
Yeah.
It takes way longer than you want it to take to act your way out of it.
Yeah, it's just that feeling of instant gratification.
I'm proud of you for not trying to think your way out of this problem, by the way. You're a smart dude. You can't think your way out of this problem.
No.
You have to act your way out of it.
Yeah, it takes, your feet do the talking.
Amen.
Your mouth can do as much talking as you want, but your actions speak louder than words.
Hail to the King.
Oh.
Any other things that were really that matter about this conversation?
No, because the next one, I was gonna start getting into the step work,
feeling your feels,
where I start learning how to grow and start to learn how to do life, and so that'll come on later.
Look forward to it.
So,
our podcast has, for me, been better than expected. In my life, I do my fucking work. I do my hard. And so as I watch you and see you do it, thank you for doing your hard. For real, for real.
Well, I want to thank you for being a role model in my life, Shay. That's what's most important about this is you got those people that push you, and believe in you and love you and support you. And I couldn't do it without you guys. I really couldn't.
You're welcome.
So
I see you, and we win together.
Yes,
we win
do.
together. But one thing you said at the beginning is I'm doing this for me because it keeps us in the game of joy. Same with me. I'm doing this with you because if I know I'm going to meet up with you, guess what I had to do this morning? My cold swim. Because if I didn't, then I'm not legit. So it keeps me. Did I get my workout in? Did I do my It keeps me real. Thank you. Win together.
Thank you.
All right, as we bring this podcast home and this incredibly, incredibly good discussion experience lesson, there is valuable treasure here if you're willing to get to know your dragon. And you've gotten to know your dragons, and you started taming some of them, and that's why you get the treasure. We'll bring it home with Henry Rollins. There is no such thing as spare time. There's no such thing as free time. There's no such thing as downtime. All you get is lifetime. Lifetime. That's all we get. There's not clean time. There's not sober time. There's not using time. It's just lifetime.
Amen.
Be alive in your life. We win together. I am Recovery. Thank you. If they can be of service, 801-407-9998 or imrtc.com. Ask for Ryan Hymas and let him know that, hey, I heard that Sean Dub guy. Thank you.
Love you, Ryan.
All right, everybody. Create, go do, rock star, and win. See you next time.